There's an inherent vulnerability to moments of learning when your perspective shifts and widens as you take in something that you hadn't thought about before. You can tell that it's vulnerable because a lot of people pretend that they already know everything. This starts young. I see this with my nephew all the time. He hates admitting that he didn't know something. In my childhood, at some point, I learned to exploit that vulnerability a little bit. I learned that there is power in knowing something that someone else doesn't, and that in that moment, while they are learning, you can assert some kind of superiority over them. Didn't you know that? I think I enjoyed that from a young age, that feeling of power and superiority. Perhaps this comes from being the youngest in my family and pretty much always being the last to know something. Perhaps I then found it enjoyable to assert that power whenever I could. But when we exploit those learning moments for our own feelings of superiority, we actually disrupt that learning moment. We make it more uncomfortable for them, and we make it less likely that they will be open to learning in the future. This is something very important to think about as facilitators. If we want to see change in the world, and we want to take a facilitative role in that change, then we need to stop exploiting other people's learning moments for our own sense of satisfaction. We need to make that vulnerable moment feel worth it. It might not always feel comfortable, but we don't want to make it more uncomfortable. We see this in online spaces all the time. Hope that helps. This attitude of I'm better than you because of what I know and how I perceive things. All that does is make people defensive. I've worked with people who grew up in certain educational environments where they were made to feel inferior if they didn't know something. And they're very difficult to work with because they can't admit when they don't know something. They can't admit when they're wrong. They always shy away from that vulnerability. We want people to lean into that vulnerability, to even find pleasure in that vulnerable place. As facilitators, that should be a priority.